And so that's showing in the background. Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody. Today is October 30th, and we are on week 4. And today we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about your cortisol, and we're going to talk about mindset. So, um, I'm excited that you're here. Sally made some fun things for us to eat. We have quite a bit to eat tonight because everybody's getting excited about all these foods. So I was thinking maybe next week we should do a potluck. What do you think about that idea? And everybody can bring something that they're either experimenting with or something that they liked, and we can share it and kind of do our Thanksgiving meal together early. And then moving forward, next week is our last Zoom and it's our last physically meeting here. And we talked a little bit about there's some folks who are really doing well and they would like to continue to submit their journals through November, which is fine. There's some other people that I don't think that's necessary for, but wherever you find yourself, if you'd let me know if you want to continue to submit your journal, we can do that. And I think what we could do is do a couple Zooms like in November and December, just to have a no gain November and a no gain December. And then we're going to start again meeting in January. Okay. So if you want to, you just let me know. You can send me a text, send me an email, let me know what you want to do, and then I'll have a registration for you to be on those 2 Zooms. And we're going to talk about, what are some strategies for having a no gain November, and what are some strategies for what should I make for the holidays? I'm going to potluck. We'll talk about the no sugar chocolate that you can make, and you can pour it over like frozen bananas or frozen strawberries and things like that that are traditional meals that or treats that you have for the holidays, but ways that we can just adjust them a little bit and you don't have to feel like you're missing out or you don't have to feel like you're odd man out. And how do we make that happen for the holidays? Does that sound good? Mhm. Awesome. All right. So, welcome back.
My mom's flowers that you sent seeds for said they were pink on the package, but when they opened up, they weren't pink.
Oh,
That's what she called you.
oh, Earl's mom's letting me know my flowers I sent were in disguise. So, today I really want to emphasize one thing that we haven't talked too much about, and that is sleep. So, how many of you have found yourself sleeping better?
For sure.
Yeah. You don't wake up as much. Your pain is maybe minimized because our inflammation is down. You are having a better sleep quality because you're falling asleep quicker, perhaps. Okay. Okay. And what we really want is we want to be done eating like at 7 o'clock so that when you go to bed, you actually don't have a full tummy. Okay. If you're still getting that full sensation, maybe take some digestive enzymes before you go to bed. So that helps degrade the food and it's not your body working hard at that. Because when you sleep, what actually happens, according to the National Sleep Organization and Dr. Daniel Amen, is that your brain actually washes itself. It washes itself of the free radicals, and it washes itself of the inflammation and kind of the debris that builds up during the day when you're working so hard. And if you're not sleeping well, then your brain doesn't get that cleansing effect and it doesn't reduce the inflammation. And we know we don't want inflammation because then we're going down that road of neurodegeneration. So optimal sleep is super important. Also, if you're not sleeping well, if you have a lot of waking during the night, now this could be because of why. Maybe you have your cat or dog sleeping with you. Maybe you have your child sleeping with you. Maybe you haven't learned yet some good sleep hygiene. Let's talk about some good sleep hygiene. Anybody have some things they want to throw out there that they think this is good sleep hygiene?
No TV in the bedroom.
No TV in the bedroom. Huge. That blue light totally impacts you. What else?
Phones.
No phones in the bedroom. If you could leave your phone in the at least across the room, if not in the bathroom, that would be better because especially when you're charging it and you have it right at the head of the bed, those EMFs, we can measure that they're actually emitting and it's interrupting your sleep. Plus, if people are texting you all night long, ding and ding and ding, right?
Frequency music on my, that's from my phone, but I do put it, like arm's length away and then I shoot it over to a Bluetooth.
I would put it as far away from your head as possible. That's what I would suggest.
Put it in a drawer, like in the drawer.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. I just know the further away from your brain, the better. Okay. Or if you could find some other way to maybe put the phone out and have it Bluetooth to your Bluetooth unit that's across the room from you would be better. Because when you plug it in, actually is when it's emitting the most uh, EMFs. Thank you. So we want to get that away from you. If you don't plug it in, it's not emitting as much. So you're way better off. Okay, what other sleep hygiene things?
Like it.
Cooler temps. And some of you could even use like a weighted blanket. I personally can't stand that, but for some people, it is very calming to have cooler temps and a weighted blanket. And yeah.
It also helps, yeah, say, and dark.
Dark. Let's talk about that. Like in several of our bedrooms before for a long time, we didn't have shades because we didn't have any neighbors. And now we've got neighbors and yard lights over here and blackout shades. Or if you're traveling, you can even get blackout eye masks. Some of you, if you're super um, responsive, like you hear a noise and, aren't all young moms like this? You hear a noise and you wake up. You've trained yourself to be alert to any noise in the house. That actually is not so great for you. Okay. As you get older, we don't want that startling awake. And some of the ways that you can help that is to take a supplement with L-tryptophan in it, which is our turn down product. Also, if you're startling awake in the middle of the night, some of you, it might be a blood sugar issue. This you might have been able to pick up with your Stello monitor if your blood sugar was diving. A few of you I did talk to about that, eating a protein before you go to bed, just like 2 ounces of clean lean protein might help with some of that blood sugar diving. Others of you, if you have a lot of racing thoughts and you can't get your brain to shut down at night, one thing that Dr. Daniel Amen recommends is it's almost like a self-hypnosis, is to count backwards from 100 and imagine yourself walking downstairs while you do it. It sounds crazy, but Earl and I have both used this and it works quite well. I have never gotten to zero. Earl tells me he gets to zero sometimes, but I never get there. So that's one thing you could try, or you could try isotonics calcium. Many a time, I know Kim, you've used that to get up in the middle of the night and to take just you do both of them. Mhm.
I did it last night because my legs. I was jumping. I don't know what causes that.
Mhm.
When I can't. It's restless.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know what the deficiency is, but
It's magnesium. And so stress will cause your body to use up your magnesium and use up your B vitamins. So there's two things you could do. You could take the turn down earlier in, like maybe right after supper or so. That's got some B vitamins in it and the magnesium and the L-tryptophan. So you're going to kind of get the triple whammy with the turn down in the little packet. You could take just magnesium like you did when you woke up. So calcium works with contraction of muscles and magnesium works with relaxation of muscles. And so when you've got that restless legs going on, which I've suffered with for years as well, I don't know if it's genetic or what, but I do know when you're more stressed, you're more likely to have it. So take some extra magnesium. That'll calm that down. And this is a supplement that you take to bowel tolerance, right? Some people need 3, 4 caps a day. Other people half a cap a day, and they're starting to run to the bathroom because their stool is moving very quickly. So take it to your bowel tolerance. And, when the in-laws are coming, you probably need 3, 4, 5 caps. And when you're home alone, you're like, oh, half a cap is fine. So you can read your own body with the magnesium, but this is my go-to to start with. And I like to mix my vitamin D with it because Dr. Deidre Mason told me there is some sleep benefit to taking your vitamin D at night before you go to bed. It does help. So I sometimes split my vitamin D. I do one in the morning and one at night, especially now that we're starting to get dark so early. You guys can't see it, but it's dark here. So this is a great thing to do. Now, if you have a lot of stress, I would add in an Axe herbal supplement at night before you go to bed. This is for when not just the in-laws come, but all their kids and your neighbors are sleeping over at your house or eating dinner at your house. And you can take that at night. You can take it just that night, or you can take it just for a season for like 2 weeks, or you could do it for, continually. And this is going to help regulate blood sugar. The ashwagandha in it is going to take that edge off your frayed nerves. If some of you, when you get stressed, you go in your bedroom and shut the door and never want to come out, this will help you to have more tolerance and come out. Or if you get really screamy, that's what I get. This brings you down. So, sometimes my family has to bring this to me and say, you need this. Okay.
Did you say screaming?
Yeah. And this one, I love this one too, because we unfortunately here in the river bottom were in the flood of 2011 and we were out of our house for 3 months. And I actually called Dr. D and said, how much of this can I take? And so I took 6 caps a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at noon, and 2 at night. And that seemed to be the right titration for me during that time. So if you have something stressful coming up, you can load more. Now, we have another supplement that's not in our Gotrim line that's called Bliss. It's about half the price. It doesn't have the trademark ingredient that this one does of the ashwagandha, but it's got a generic ashwagandha. And it doesn't have one of our other ingredients in here that starts with a B, but I can't remember. And anyway, for some people, that works great. Works really well for them. Anybody here used Bliss and it works well for you? Yeah, of course, because we're the ones that are, looking more too for the weight loss. This is a ramped up version of it, and the Bliss does nothing for me. I gotta go the whole hog. So I love this supplement. I never run out of it. I always have it on the shelf. I never want to run out of it, and this is a big go-to at our house. So and again, you can take it at night to help with sleep, or some of you, if you're just super logy because of your stress, it will give you energy. And others of you, again, it's what's called a
Adaptogen.
thank you, adaptogen, and it's going to help get you to that place. Look how much I've taught them. They could be teaching this. I love that. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So sleep, how many hours of sleep do you need? Really, optimal is 7 to 9. That's what the research says, 7 to 9. I know we have a president that supposedly sleeps 3 hours a night. There are genetic anomalies, right? Some of you, maybe you have a genetic anomaly, but I think it's more likely that many people just have that German work ethic and they think they get gold stars if they sleep less. And I know 20 years ago when I was teaching and on the school board and running 3 businesses and, trying to homeschool my one son, it was like I would get up at 3 in the morning and study for 2 hours and then go back to bed for an hour because I thought I was making another day of out of what I had left of 24 hours. And that was not good for my health. So I would encourage you, if you can get 7 to 9, certainly more than 5, you reduce your risk of a diabetes. So if nothing else, aim for more than 5. Okay. All right. So sleep. What happens when we don't sleep? What happens when we get stressed? This is the hormone cortisol, and it rises. And unfortunately, ladies, as we get into premenopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, our cortisol rises even easier. And when your cortisol is high, even if you're eating the same way, you can gain adipose tissue around the waist. Why? Because the body thinks you're in fight or flight if you're chronically stressed. And you know what? What's stressful for me might not be stressful for you, or what's stressful for you might not be stressful for me. So you've got to kind of take inventory of where you're at. And one thing Earl and I have started doing, and Hannah's got a watch that tells her to do this when her blood pressure starts to rise, it says, take 4 deep breathing moments. So let's just do that. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe into 4, we're going to hold it for 1 second, and then we're going to breathe out to 8. Okay. So here we go. Ready? Breathe into 4 and out to 8. Okay, one more time. Breathe into 4 and out to 8. We'll do it one more time. Breathe into 4 and out to 8. I think my shoulders are riding lower, right? Is your back maybe less tense? Do you just feel a little bit, your heart rate definitely slowed down? And if you can stop and do that, that is super good for lowering your cortisol because you're not in fight or flight anymore. And your body is going to literally rest and digest better. So, one thing you could do, some tips about resting and digesting, sit at the dining room table to eat. Earl and I are home builders, and we have noticed through the years that the dining room is just getting lost in many, even homes. And they're just going with the breakfast counter because everyone eats at the breakfast counter. And sometimes they don't even sit. They just eat right off the counter and shovel it into their face and they're on to the next thing, right? And maybe some of you recognize that happening in your house. So make a beautiful setting with your food. Put the placemat out. Put a nice plate out. We don't always have to use paper plates. I'm super guilty. We are a big paper plate house. Put a nice plate out. Get some real silverware. Put a nice cup out. What are you saving those nice glasses for? Your kids? I mean, they're not going to want them. And even if it's just some charged water, put it in your nice glass. I learned this from my friend Judy. Put your nice charged water in a nice stemmed glassware. Put a little lime on the side, right, Jude?
Right.
Yeah. And everybody is like, "Whoa, what is that drink? I want that," and it just kind of calms you down. You eat the food first with your eyes. In the restaurant industry, we used to talk about this all the time. Presentation matters. People slow down. If I just slop it on there, I'm slopping it in. And chew your food. Take time to chew your food. Don't be the first one done. If you're the last one to sit and the first one done because you're cleaning off the table, that's a problem. Okay. Maybe you need to take some time to think about yourself in the fact that if you are the major food prep person, maybe you need to assign to some other people in the house to pick up the plates and put them in the dishwasher. It doesn't have to all be you. Okay. And so some of these things and I'm preaching to the choir here, man. I'm last one in the kitchen, first one up, clearing the plates, filling everybody's. So I know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure some of you are that way too, because I've seen what servants you are. And when you had little babies, you sacrificed eating to feed them. But guess what? Nobody in this room has little babies anymore, not even the nanny. So take some time to plan your meals, sit down and eat your meals. Don't eat them in the car while you're driving to the next place, because that's what we call unconscious eating. And that adds to your cortisol spike. Okay. So, calming down, stress measures, also your mindset can stress you. We had a big conversation this week with a couple of people that came earlier this week to weigh and measure about mindset. Okay. And in your email I sent you, I would love for all of you to sit down and get 7 to 15 positive affirmations that you would like to have that you're going to repeat to yourself. You can get a dry erase marker and write them on your mirror in the morning so you're saying them. Sally, would you mind going in my office and pulling out of my printer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of paper? Yeah, and grab me some pens out of there. And I want you to write down some positive affirmations, some I am statements. I have statements of gratitude. I will statements of where you're going. And these are super powerful. You don't recognize how many times you throughout the day are saying things to yourself. Well, this is so hard. I cannot tell you how many times the first week of detox, I become everyone's food police and enemy. And they're like, oh, that panel. If I could hear all the voices that speak to me and how mad they are at me, I'm glad I can't hear them. But at the same time, what you're saying to yourself makes a huge difference. Your body is actually listening to you. And when you keep saying negative things about yourself, you are making a pathway in your neural pathways to the negative. And you're creating a rut that even when you try to think positive, you're automatically electrically with the conduction going to that neural pathway that says negative things. And so instead of saying, this is hard, you can say, I can do hard things. I am successful. I can cook my own meals and make them tasty. I am a fun, joyful person.
When you fail,
have the ability to reset. We do that in pickleball. If I have a couple of less than desirable hits, I tap my thigh and I say reset.
Very good. And you can do that with a rubber band,
Yeah.
reset. You can do that by simply saying cancel and then reset what you were saying. If you said to yourself, I'm never going to do this, cancel. Just say cancel. I can do this. I can do hard things. I am smart. I have the ability to do this. And so I gave you, I don't know, maybe 24 of them in your email, but I'd like you to just take a few minutes. If you're on the call, Peggy 4, Tammy, Jackie, if you can find the chat right there, under the chat, Emmy, can you write some words of positive affirmation there? I am, I will, I have. Some words of gratitude. Go ahead and type them in the chat if you can. And make sure that your little down arrow says that your chat is going to everyone. If you're on a phone, it's in a little different place, but if you're on the computer, it's in that bottom bar of, yes, I am an overcomer. Excellent, Peggy. Yes, wonderful. Um, we've all gone through hard things in our life and we all have made it this far. And that's a wonderful kudos to you. You made it to this class. Those of you online, you took the time. I am positive. Very good, Tammy. Judy, I am grateful for my health. Absolutely. I love eating for my wellness. Absolutely. Food tastes great when I prepare it to feed my body. Um, I control food. It does not control me. Okay. I am in charge of what goes in my mouth and I know what to feed myself. Today, I choose to feed myself things that will help me. And what I want you all to write down somewhere in there is I am worthy of being fed good food. Because sometimes we think we're the last one to eat. And if there's nothing left from what we prepared, we just go grab some pretzels and say, it's okay, I fed everyone else, right? I am a child of God. Excellent, Emmy. That's the really powerful one. I'm an excellent example of godly confidence. That's tremendous, Jackie. Emmy, I'm so blessed. Absolutely. The other day I was at a open house and someone I've known since I was a child, literally, before I was even in school. I walked up to him and I said, how are you doing? And of course, he responded with, oh, I'm still here. I'm alive. So he probably knows who this is. We're at the same event. And he goes, my back hurts. I'm having a surgery in 2 weeks. And, I'm here. And actually, he called me about 2 hours after I got home and he said to me, Pam, I want to change what I said to you. What I said is not who I want to be. And I was so proud of him for calling me and saying that to me. And he said, I got to figure out what to say when people ask me, how are you? And I said, how about if you say, I'm blessed? And you're literally calling a blessing down on yourself. I'm grateful to be here. I'm excited because I also want you to say, my best days are still in front of me. I have tremendous days ahead. Because what's happening in our mental health crisis, like we just went to a mental health conference 2 weekends ago, we have a epidemic of young people that don't believe there even is going to be a next year, or some of them not even a next month. And you on this call have had enough life to know there is still life ahead and life is worth living. And how I feel right now is not necessarily how I'm going to feel forever. So if you set the stage with your mouth saying, I am 175 pounds, you are telling your brain, I am 175 pounds. I'm going to lose that weight and I'm going to get there, right? Or whatever your goal is. I am able to get up off the floor when I get down there with my grandchild, right? Right. And so I sent you in the email a great place to start. Many of us don't even realize that we've gone from just standing up off the floor to finding a chair to doing the 4-legged squat. And we haven't even realized that we've lost some capability. So if you already still can do that, and I'm sure Lisa's bending all over the place at her job, then follow that thread of Abby Mills Yoga. I think she's excellent. I think they're easy exercises that you can see which muscles you're working. And some of you know which muscles aren't doing so great. It's in the email. You just follow the link in the email. She's got a whole YouTube channel. It's all free. And if you can just even do 5 minutes with her, she's got some great ones that you do in bed before you even get up, especially us hip people that have challenges with our hips, to loosen up your hips before you get out of bed. These are great things to do. All right. So now these are your positive affirmations. These are what I want you in this next week to find a place to post this. You could take a picture of it. It could be your screen, your wallpaper. So every time you open your phone, you see that. You could print it off on a sticky note and put it in your car. So when you're driving around, if you drive a lot, it's the first thing you see, repeat it. I would love to hear you say these 3 times a day, but I'd be happiest if you at least said it once a day. So I've put it on my mirror in my bathroom before. Um, with lipstick, lip liner, dry erase markers, almost anything comes off your crayon comes off your mirror, whatever you want to use, even permanent marker comes off your mirror. So find one of your kids' markers and write them on your mirror and say them to yourself, because I'm not with you in the morning, you're with you. And you need to be your own champion. Okay. And if there's a specific area where you're really struggling, find a positive affirmation to speak to yourself. And if you find yourself saying some negative things, there's so many times, Sally, when I've had to go to meetings I don't really want to go to, I say, I can do this. I'm going to be great. This is going to be awesome. I mean, I literally am saying it in the car to myself when I'm going places I don't want to go. So it really does change the temperature of what you're doing and the capability inside of you, because your brain has this thing going on without you knowing it, that when you say you're going to do something, it's figuring out how to do it, and it will do it subconsciously. So this is super important. This mindset is so powerful. I have watched people self-sabotage. And the neat thing is, this isn't just about weight. It's also about your finances. It's also about your time. If you constantly say, I'm just so busy, well, guess what? You will believe yourself that you're just so busy. Some of the people that, if you need to get something done, just ask a busy person, because they actually get it done, right? We all know that saying, right? So I want you to have the mindset that you are successful. You're going to have a no gain November. You're going to have great ideas to make for Christmas and your Christmas parties. And you are not missing out. You are bringing the life of the party. You are bringing the food that helps people be healthy. You are the one influencing your network to be healthier. And that's my Facebook says, I'm building an empire of friends who want to help each other. And so when we see each other at the restaurant, I am not your food police. We are helping each other. Hey, did you see this great menu item? Because that's the way you encourage each other, instead of saying, oh, what the heck? We're just going to have deep fried Oreos tonight and call it a loss, right? Help each other, right? Resets, right? And just because you do eat something that you intentionally choose to do doesn't mean the rest of the day is wrecked. And that's that whole idea of reset. Okay, so we're all going to have moments when we choose to eat the birthday cake, we choose to whatever it is, but you can journal to yourself in these next 2 months to say, when I ate that pumpkin pie with the whipped cream and the pecan pie with the jelly sauce, and then I had ice cream with fudge sauce, 15 minutes later, because they all look so good, I felt terrible. My tummy hurt. I didn't sleep well. My brain was racing. I got in a fight with my brother or sister because I could feel that anxiousness of that high glycemic moment actually changes your personality. So it makes you less tolerant. And so all of those things, if you raise your level of awareness to this. Now, I'd really love to see every one of you to have lost at least 10 pounds in this 5 weeks, because if we can get over that 10-pound mark, it really sticks. There's just something really kind of resetting about it. So I want you to push through this week. And there's a couple of things, if you haven't done them, we might want to add to the mix. All right. One of them might be a probiotic to see what your gut microbes are doing. If you're still feeling hungry, it could be your gut bugs saying, I want that Big Mac. I want those French fries. I'm having cravings for those. And it's actually not even probably you, it's your gut bugs saying they want it and they're projecting it that that's the kind of food, just like people who have overabundance of candida, they crave sugar because the candida is crying out for it. Okay. Um, if you are done with your fiber powder, I would encourage you to get back on the bandwagon with fiber powder this week because that's a prebiotic that feeds the good gut bugs that then they create postbiotics, which are called butyrate. And that makes the gut lining stronger. It leaves you, strengthens you against autoimmune diseases. It helps you to digest your food better. It keeps the bloat from happening with leaky gut. So I love this with the trim tea. I do this every day. I have for years, and this really helps to keep my inflammation at bay as well. Maybe that's your one piece of the puzzle you're going to press in this week on, okay? If you're still having wild cravings and you have a low mood, I would recommend maybe Gotrim Thin is the thing you need this week to press in on. We got to find one thing this week that you're going to level up. You're going to take a step beyond what you've been doing the last 4 weeks to press in and get the best results this week. Does that make sense? Maybe some of you have not been drinking your weight or half your weight in water. So, like if you're 200 pounds, I want you drinking 100 ounces of water. If you're 150 pounds, I want you drinking 75 ounces of water, right? Can you write on your sheet? How much water should you be drinking? Take your weight, divide it in half, and make it ounces. Write it on your sheet. So, does anybody have a question how much water that is? Now, some of you, as we age, you're seeing your bladder. I've had this complaint this week. I can't drink that much. I'm peeing my pants. I can't make it through the night without going to the bathroom. So, in the next email, I'm going to send out a link to one of my favorite bladder and pelvic health specialists. It's Dr. Cassie DeWitt, and she has the Facebook page Urine Good Company. Urine Good Company. And she had prolapsed her bladder by the time before she was 20. And they told her that she's just always going to have a problem the rest of her life and she'd never be able to have kids. And she became a PhD occupational therapist in pelvic health. And she does a great curriculum online about what you need to do to strengthen your pelvic floor so that you're not having to run to the bathroom every 30 minutes. And one of the things is being dehydrated actually makes you run to the bathroom more often because the muscles are so dried up down there that they can't function. And actually, it isn't that they're not tight enough, it's that they're permanently tight and you never relax them. So when they're permanently tight like that, they shrink back and you have leakage. Okay. So, some interesting concepts that she has out there to help teach you. You need to hydrate. You need to, she's not a Kegel person. She's not going to just tell you to do 10 Kegels. She's actually going to help you relax that pelvic floor and understand how much your core needs to be engaged. Maybe your posture's involved. Some of the things like carbonated drinks, wine, coffee, stimulants, these all can affect your bladder actually having spasms, which makes it harder to hold your urine. Okay, so she's got some great stuff out there about it. And, I've read somewhere between 50 to 70% of women have trouble with leakage. So we should talk about it. All right. And so I just want you to be aware of that. I'll send it in the email this next week. Okay, stress, sleep, cortisol. This week, level up. We've got 1 week left and we're going to go after it. Oh, the last piece of the puzzle is if you're hydrating, you're sleeping, you're getting your stress down, are you getting enough protein? So I've been talking about this 100 grams of protein, and all the people in the field that I work with are saying, no, it should be 150 grams of protein. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can barely get my ladies to do 100 grams. So I've texted some of the groups different measurements of protein. I know we don't want to be measuring everything. But in the morning, if you get that protein in first thing, you're setting your metabolism to burn right away in the morning within 30 minutes of rising. Or if you're a really early riser, 5, 6 o'clock, you can push it back because some of you I've talked about making an empty stomach for 12 hours to 14 hours because you've got some other things going on there that we're trying to reset, right? So figure out how many hour window you're going to have. Everybody can do 12. Some of you we've talked about doing 14. And let's get that time where you give your liver a break, you give your kidneys a break where there's no food in the belly and it's repairing your body. And then let's get that protein load in the morning. Big protein load, right? 3 eggs, couple turkey sausages in your frittata, in with your hash of carrots and celery and sauerkraut thrown on there. I would love it if all of you would do 2 tablespoons of sauerkraut 3 times a week. That probiotic is just going to repopulate your microbiome like crazy. But you're not all Germans, so maybe that's hard for you. All right. Any questions out there in Zoom land or here in front of me?
So if we're supposed to do protein within half an hour, what does that mean for the isotonics piece?
Let's get those in. Let's do, if you're still doing your lemon water, get that right away. Then once that's done, let's get the isotonics in, right? So now we're at about 10 minutes after rising, 15 minutes after rising. And now, 15 to 20 minutes later, if you're going to do your shake, thank you for reminding me. Some of you are still having trouble getting the protein in with the Gotrim Slim Shake, which tastes great. It's all awesome. We haven't really talked too much about this. This is a great shake to use after your workout. This is a great shake to use post-menopause because it's got creatine in it. That's going to help your memory and your brain to stay functioning well and sharp. Creatine is the postmenopausal woman's magic. This one has 30 grams of protein, 3 grams of creatine, 6.9 grams of it is branched chain amino acids, which are very bioavailable. There's no hormones, there's no added sugars. We have it in French vanilla. 1 scoop, the scoop's bigger in here. Got no gluten, no RBGH, which is the hormone they give cows, no artificial sweeteners, and no aftertaste. So 1 scoop. This is with 6 to 8 ounces of cold water. I wouldn't mix it with anything except for cold water. This is not a baking mixture. It doesn't bake well. But like when you're playing pickleball, I would throw this in a shaker bottle, bring it with me. You can freeze this.
Does it have to be water? Because I typically use unsweetened coconut milk.
That's fine. Coconut milk's fine.
I also throw in ice if you want to have a thicker feel.
Yep, you can do ice. Yep, you can freeze it. And as it thaws, this is Sally's trick, is to drink it as it thaws. If you're going on a trip or something, someone was going on a girls' week and they were like, what am I going to do? They were doing some thing in Fargo where you get on a bus and whodunit and mystery. Thank you. And so we talked about making these shakes, freezing them, putting them in the cooler, and then they're keeping the rest of the food cold, and then you're drinking them as they melt, right? Any questions? Did I answer your question, Mars? I know it's quick, but it's all about good, better, best. Our mindset needs to be that we can't be perfect. We don't live in a bubble. So if it takes you an hour to get it all done, Mars, awesome. Are you getting to your goal? Oh, so last thing I want to talk about. Boy, this went long. Earl, I know you're kind of fidgeting over there. A dream board. Where do you want to be? I mentioned this in the email. If you could write on your piece of paper on the other side of your affirmations, this is what I want to be 6 months from now. 6 months from now is November, December, January, February, March, April. We're coming into spring, okay? April. You want to be able to what? Pick up, I know mine, I want to be able to pick up that new grandbaby and walk all over wherever I want to go without worrying about my back, without worrying about my feet, without worrying about inflammation. I want to have enough energy to get up at night with the baby if my son needs the help, or come to the rescue if they call and say we're exhausted. This is what's important to me. I want to be able to get up off the floor and hold the baby, not have to be, I'm gonna lay the baby down and get up and then try to bend over and pick the baby up, right?
So she called.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been there, Sally. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Football.
Right. You've all been there. So where do you want to be in April? I mean, it might be a weight number, but it might be a physical activity. It might be, I don't want to get up in the morning and be sad. I want to be happy. I want to go to my closet and find my spring clothes and they fit. Or better yet, I want to throw my spring clothes out and I want to go shopping and buy new spring clothes, right? I want to get a new pickleball outfit. I want to be able to, when I lose weight, my foot size shrinks. Does yours too? I want to be able to wear a smaller size tennis shoe. I go from 9.5 to a 10. And then when I lose weight, I go 9.5, 9, so I don't know what your thing is. I can't tell you what your thing is, but maybe you want to be able to go on a vacation and go hiking up to Glacier as soon as the Going to the Sun Highway opens. Maybe you want to, um, join pickleball and you can't do it now because you're afraid you won't be able to keep up, or maybe you're looking to reward yourself with a membership for something. Or I know lately, you guys think this is crazy, but I lost my 2 kitties this last year, and last night when I was laying on the couch, Earl, I filled out the VIP Guardian for being able to get a Maine Coon cat from our neighbor down here on Glenwood. And it's like,
How many square feet our house is?
yeah.
Wow.
Are you a felon?
No, they didn't ask that. But you know what? They did want the square footage of our house and where we live and if we rent. Yeah,
See one.
I know. So it doesn't have to be something that everybody else wants. It can be what rewards you. Weren't we talking about this earlier this week with Connie? She wants to go to this concert. And and maybe you want to wear a new outfit, not the old outfit. She wanted to fit into an old outfit. And I said, to heck with that. Get rid of the old outfit. That's looking backwards. Let's talk about getting a new outfit. Let's not talk about fitting into, maybe you can have one pair of high school jeans, but I don't want to wear the clothes I wore before I got pregnant or 30 years ago. They're out of style. Get rid of them. That's stinking thinking. You're never going to be that shape again that you were 19. I'm sorry. Even if you lose the weight, you're just a different human being and the styles have changed. Go visit Lisa. You can find a new outfit there, right? Lots of new outfits at Seeds of Hope. So, or maybe your thing is like, I am a fanatic for Christmas. My reward is this Sunday, there's a holiday home walk benefiting the Cerebral Palsy Association. And it's $20 to go, and I'm going to go. Oh, Earl's like, we are going? Okay. So what's your reward? Write it down. If you don't write it down, you just think, well, sometime I'll think of what my reward is. Maybe Mars, it's a day to Fargo by yourself, right? How would that happen, right? See, there's your stinking thinking that it can't happen. It can happen. She's going to go over to Penny's and spend the day with Rebecca. And so I just want you to think about, because the possible can happen. So now I'm going to get kind of personal. 10 years ago, Earl and I thought that we were going to have our adult veteran son live with us for the rest of our lives. We really did. He came home that disabled, but we just refused to give up. And now he's married, he has his own house, he's working full time, and they have a baby due in February. Nice. And I could have never imagined that we could come this far. And I feel immensely blessed. But even during those days when things were pretty dark, and I told Earl, you need to come home today. I can't handle all of this from work. We got through it, and we are blessed. And I can tell you that there are good days ahead and there are rough days ahead, but you are learning skills by choosing your food instead of your food choosing you. And you can do hard things so that you can have the things that you want as your goals. And if you need help, reach out. That's what I'm here for. If you want to get back together again in January, you can be a part of that. If you want to be a part of the couple of Zooms we're going to do in November and December, or if you need to have an accountability partner, we'll get you one. Okay. No gain November, and we're going to have a lovely December. We'll see you guys next week on Zoom. Thanks for being on.